What's going on, everyone? It's your girl, Dawn Halfkenny. And of course, you are tuned into a new episode of Road to Hollywood. But first, sitting here beside me is the man himself, Mr. Tabari TV.
That's what's up, everybody. What's up, Dawn?
What's going on, Tab?
I'm super excited about this episode. I see you caught up with my main man, Dwayne. Boy,
Yeah.
he is like the new millennium renaissance man here in Atlanta. He's an actor. He's an acting coach. He takes the bomb headshots. And, you know, when people ask me, you know, how do I kind of get in the game, I always tell them to start with Autumn Bailey's Get Connected and to sign up for one of Dwayne's classes.
So, you know, Dwayne's class was where I first started taking acting class at.
I just thought you was a natural.
I mean, that's what people say. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, make sure y'all stay tuned in because Dwayne is definitely dropping gems this episode. He has so much knowledge and he definitely guided me through this industry. He prepped me for it.
That's what's up. So stay tuned to this episode of Road to Hollywood.
What's going on, good people? We are back to another dope episode of Road to Hollywood. Tab,
What's up?
what you got going on this week?
Got to get the last little gifts for my little one, you know.
I wear a size 9 in shoe, and then ladies, I wear a size 2.
I said little one. Man, you look expensive anyway, man. I don't be up in fips like that.
I
you
like
know?
nice things.
Yeah, I know. For sure. What's going on with you?
Gosh. Oh, I actually had the opportunity to attend the Like a Boss screening.
Opportunity?
Yeah, the opportunity to attend the Like a Boss screening.
How was it?
And it was dope. You know, I'm very excited and very proud of Tiffany Haddish. It's very funny. You know, of course, y'all men may feel like it's a chick flick, but it's actually very funny. So make sure y'all go see it. It comes out in January 2020.
Like a boss.
Like a boss. Like a boss.
Is it like, what boss you like? You like Rick Ross or you like Young? What's the big tall dude from Texas?
Anyway, so, you know, I'm from Texas.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
I'll rap Texas all day.
What's the
Slim
tall?
Thug.
Slim Thug.
You know, come
He
on
was
now.
Boss Hog.
Yeah. Well, speaking, while we're kind of on a rap, you know, subject, can we talk about 6ix9ine being in jail? I mean, you know, I don't really rock with rap like that. I mean, I don't know, something I just don't connect with
Before
rap.
we start there, we have before you touch that matter, I gotta see where your street code is.
You own one today.
You mess with the snitches?
No, first of all, no. Snitches get stitches. Everybody knows that.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody knows that. Snitches get. I learned a long time ago to mind my business.
So I don't know if you know. I know you kind of don't do the extremely ratchet things, but like I've been following this case extra hard, and it was very. Like, we got CB4, like, really got CB4. If you didn't see CB4, it was an awesome movie with Chris Rock, and what they did is they made, like, a fake rapper. And what happened with this young man is he got tied up with this blood gang in Brooklyn, and he blew up, but he had them into his pockets, and they were extorting him, they kidnapped him, they did things with his baby mom, and it's just like amazing, like all of this stuff was like on social media, and that was what the trial was. But the big thing with everybody is that he told on a lot of people. He told on about 6 people, and they're going to jail right now, and that's the whole commentary about, you know, is he gonna be able to get out of jail and be successful? And I think we're in a different time now. I don't think this is the 90s or even the early 2000s where people even care about it. And I really feel like it's all about hit records right now. If this boy come out and get anything close to anything that he was producing before, it's gonna be out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know. I got a couple of bets with my homies that, you know, because they saying ain't nobody gonna mess with this boy's music. And I'm like, duh, this ain't about you, it's about young kids. This is not about gangster. This is about entertainment, and I really feel like he's gonna seize the moment and he's gonna pop off. And I don't mess with him though.
I mean, like I said, I don't really listen to rap like that, so I don't really know any of it.
How you say you don't listen to rap every time I see
like
you?
That. It's different. It's okay. I have a whole story behind. I have a whole story that I have to tell when the cameras cut off.
I saw you.
This is now. I just started listening to rap maybe like 7 years ago.
Well, what do you dance to, Dawn? Like every time I see you up in a party, you know every word.
I'm
and
a
you dance to it.
dancer. I'm a dancer. Whenever the music comes on, I start to dance, and I just let my body vibe to the beat. So it's whatever. It's whatever's playing.
Yo, and I'm super excited about this episode because we got one of the most intriguing, dopest brothers in town. Pause. You know.
Why do you say pause?
nowadays you gotta like say pause when you giving another brother a compliment, like it could get misconstrued or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same thing when y'all. That's like bro code. You know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing when y'all women come into a room and you start complimenting women that you can't stand.
Okay.
Y'all don't do that. So. Dawn, you don't do that.
Oh, we can talk about this.
Yeah, you don't do that. You don't come and be like, girl, your boobs is nice, and girl, your edges is real. Brush down.
No, brush down edges. Let me get your edge right. I mean, you know, I like to compliment other women, but I compliment them when it's very genuine. If I really like their hair, or if I like their dress, or if I like their earrings, I say, hey, yes, sis, I'm loving your earrings. However,
that's what I was waiting.
However, if they're it's a little different. Say, for instance, if you're on a date with one of your tenders, and if you're on a date with one of your tenders, then I will say, you know, maybe like, okay, you know, I'm just a friend of Tabs. How are you doing? Oh, nice to meet you. Beautiful nail polish. You know, I'll do something like that.
But why do y'all feel like I gotta find something? What is the point of finding something to say that this woman is beautiful?
For me, it's because I don't want your Tinder date to be questioning you or be questioning me about our friendship. So that's to make her feel secure with herself. That's fine with me. I'm secure with myself, honey.
One thing. Any woman that I'm out on a date with gonna be secure with themselves anyway. So I'll let you know that. Okay, so get off of dating on my dating life, and we're gonna get back to this episode because it's a super dope episode with Dwayne Boyd. Pause. And this is the dope episode of Road to Hollywood.
Yo, Tab.
Hey, there she is. What's going on? How you doing? Right? Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, back home. You're back home.
Right, I know. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Well, so yeah, this is back home, right? Huh?
Dwayne, this is all you.
Hey man, it's a blessing. $20 million facility. I'll tell you that. $20 million facility. Who would have thought that I would have a class in a space like this? So.
I always knew that you had it. I always knew that you could do this. Oh. So this is what you do your classes.
This is classes. Yeah, we do showcases here.
Showcases, everything.
Yeah, do a little groove.
Is that what we do?
Yes. What's going on, everyone? It's your girl, Dawn Halfkenny, with the big hair, and we are here at the Porter Sanford Theater with our special guest, Mr. Dwayne Boyd. How you doing, Dwayne?
Good. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem.
Thanks for coming to me to work this out, so I appreciate that.
We appreciate you for sitting here with us. Thank you so very much. Okay, you know, I couldn't wait to get into this interview.
Okay.
So what a lot of people, or some people may know, is that a little over 10 years ago, I started with your acting class.
That's true, yeah.
And
Pan Fam.
At Pan Fam. It was a different building, but you know, I learned so much was studying with you. Mm-hmm. So not only are you an actor, not only are you an acting coach, not only are you a producer, writer, like the list goes on. Mm-hmm. Can you please tell people a little bit about your journey?
First of all, I'm proud of you. You made Pan Fam look good. You out here working out. Every time I cut on Netflix, oh, it's done. Look at her doing the thing. So I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
You're the reason we're still successful. So, you know, people like yourself moving forward. So hats off to you.
You know what? Before you say that, you know, I have to say that you have to be very proud of your students for the simple fact that a majority of us, well, I'm sure all of your students are working actors.
No doubt.
You know, it's myself, Larry Rim, and like I said, the list goes on.
No, man. Yeah, so we started here in this building in 2009, but we started, this year will be our 17th year anniversary.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you know, so,
working.
Had an incredible mentor, Robert Townsend, was a mentor for me for a couple of years.
That's right.
He kind of, you know, I was ready to quit when I met him around 2004.
Really?
Yeah, I was ready to give it up. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I remember a friend of mine called me and says, "Hey man, Robert Townsend's gonna be at this facility today for an audition. You should go." I said, "Nah, I'm not going. I'm kind of good." He said, "Man, you should just go and try it out." I was like, "This one time I'm gonna go and just see." So I got there, and it was this long line of people standing outside with their headshots, you know, waiting to get going in.
Right.
And this limo pulls up, and out jumps Robert Townsend. Like, "Hello, everyone!" You know, in his fashion, normal voice. And I called my boys like, "Oh, he's here for real. Come on, hurry, he's here." You know, so that kind of gave me a little boost when I needed. You know, he kind of took me in his wing, and he was the one that told me, "You got your people, you got your crew, everything. Shoot your movie." Exactly. And I was afraid. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't want to fail. And he just said, "Do it, you can do it." And when we did it, went to the ABFF, and he's on the board at the ABFF.
He's talking about 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes. Yeah,
I forgot my T-shirt.
Yes,
I was coming to support. I placed my T-shirt to the side, and I forgot where I put it at. But
good.
It was a great movie, though.
Well, we had fun making it, man, and you could tell because what we got on the screen was us just having a great time. But that was my first feature film. I'd never done anything like that, and it was scary. But just hearing him tell me I can do it, and for it to make ABFF out of 600 films, we're in the top 4. That was amazing.
ABFF, that's like a huge American Black Film Festival. That's the
biggest Black film festival.
Exactly.
In the world, yeah, I think.
And for you all, for that to be your first project, and to make how did that make you feel?
It was amazing. I call that my coming out as a filmmaker.
There you go.
I remember we was in Live. We was partying opening night, and Robert Townsend. You know how you come down Live and them steps down in Miami.
Yes.
And it was a big sea of people performing, who were dancing. Raheem Devine was on stage performing, and I remember Robert Townsend just pointed in the crowd, and he came down and he grabbed me and said, "You did it, Playboy. I told you can do it, and you did it." That was this is somebody I grew up watching his movie. Like, I know every line of 5 Heartbeats.
So, I think we all do.
You know what I'm saying? So for him to say that to me, that was just like, that was the moment that I said, I'm a filmmaker.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, like I said, not only are you an actor, like Dwayne, I've seen you on so many different TV shows. I'm on the big screen. Like, I'm at the movies. I'm like, that go Dwayne. Like, you are in everything.
Hey, I think Atlanta has kind of taken off. And when we started here, none of this was going on. So to be in the nucleus of what's happening here in Atlanta is great.
That's right, because one thing that you always told us is just to remember, like, our name are in lights, but you always pushed us to do better, and it's always been nothing but positive vibes from you.
Oh, thank you. I had a great father, so I try to have that trickle down effect, because it starts from the top. If you have a good attitude and you teach your students to have a good attitude, that's going to be contagious, and everybody's going to talk about how great it feels to be at Pan.
Right.
When a lot of people come in, they say, this feels like a family. And that's where the name Pan Fam came from. It feels like a family.
Really?
Yeah, Pan stands for Premier Access Network, and we're getting ready for Showcase, and somebody said, #Pan Fam, and it just stuck.
Oh, wow.
So we've been saying Pan Film for the past 7 or 8 years now. So,
wow, that's really awesome. Yeah, one thing that I get a lot, I have a lot of people who DM me or send me messages to my inbox, and they always ask, what kind of advice can you give me as an up-and-coming actor? And I still feel like, I'm not there, but I'm on a journey, and I feel like I'm doing very well. And they always ask me, who can you refer me to take classes? And I always tell them Dwayne Boyd.
A lot of people come in and say your name, so.
I think I need to cut. Can I get like 10%? No, I'm just
You deserve it. You deserve it, because I hear your name quite a bit when they come to class.
And then they come back to me and they say, you know what, you were right.
Oh, wow.
He's excellent. We had so much fun. We enjoyed ourselves. And it's not only adults, but also kids, too.
We do.
And I don't know what ages.
We start from 6 to 15 with the kids. And one of our kids, Summer Fontana, she's doing amazing right now. She was just Jean Grey in the X-Men movies.
Oh, wow.
So, just to see the kids, and Summer came to me, she was 5 years old. And to see her kind of transition as quickly as she did, but she was the kind of girl that she just came in the room and just had this. I told her, Mom, don't worry, something's going to happen for her, and look at her now, she's doing great.
That's huge. Yeah. Like I said, you have to be so proud of your students and what everyone else is doing.
I tell people all the time, if I would have tried to plan this out, there's no way I could have saw this happening. So this is, I just think that when you're in line with your purpose, you find out what it is and how to give that back to others, that's when you'll be successful.
Right. Like I said, you were always so positive with us. You said nothing but great things when we were in class, and you always motivated us to, be bigger, and I really appreciate you for that. But not only that, so you also do headshots.
I do.
Tabari told me, make sure you talk to, he was like, you know what, you need to set up your headshot. I was like, I ain't got my hair done.
Hey, we'll knock it out. Whenever you want to do it, let me know.
Exactly. But I see so many actors on social media who has come to you and have done headshots, and like I said, you do everything.
I think that you have to, in this business, you have to be a renaissance man. You have to be the kind of person that says, okay, when this is slow, I can do this and this and this.
Right.
Don't just limit yourself to one thing, because you don't know what other gifts you have and how else you can contribute to the business. I know a lot of people started off as an actor, and now they're set designers or wardrobe or producing, like Errol's producing now. You know what I'm saying? And that's great to see, because I think there's so many other jobs than just being in front of the camera. Not that that's bad, but I think that when you can do more, you make yourself a lot more valuable.
I remember taking one of your classes one time, and we were doing a monologue, and it was over 10 years ago, and I was new, I really didn't know, and I wrote a monologue, and you was like, where did you get that from? And I said, I wrote it. And you said, you know what, you need to put more into writing.
Yeah.
And at first I was just like, that was just something I felt like we were supposed to do. I didn't know, but now I just want to say thank you again, because I have started writing.
Good.
And like you said, I am on a television show, and I'm so thankful for that. But I don't want to talk about myself. I just want to talk about you.
Your success is part of my success, so I'm thankful for that.
Exactly. But tell everyone what you have coming up next.
Well, like I said, right now we wrote a TV pilot that I'm producing, directing as well. The the pilot, but my boy Ryan Richmond, he's gonna produce. Ryan's a great guy. We're taking that, try to pitch it to some networks, but I'm on the season of MacGyver too, so it's on CBS, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, it's a great show. But just continuing to nurture talent, man, help people figure out what it is they need to do and how to prepare. Because I think the biggest thing is that we don't really know when that big break is coming. Exactly. But you need to be prepared because something's going to come, and you know if you're not ready, you're gonna kick yourself in the butt. No, I should have did this. I can tell you how many actors somebody says, "Oh, Dwayne, I got a big audition tomorrow morning. Can you coach me?" And you hadn't done anything. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we're emotional athletes. We have to stay in the gym, and this is the gym.
Yeah, I have so many people who come to me, and I feel like they see myself or see you on television, and then they automatically just say, "Who's your agent?"
Right.
Or
I want to go right to the top, right?
And I'm like, I don't feel like a lot of people want to do their research. Right. I don't feel like people want to do their homework. Like we did. Like you told us, like you have to get in there and you have to grind it out. You have to grind it out, and that's what we did. But I feel like things have changed, and like you said, Atlanta has definitely grown. Right. And I'm very excited for the city because when we first started, it was more popular in the music industry.
That's true.
Of course, Tyler Perry was here, but it was way more stuff with the music. But now, like, how do you feel like Atlanta is now as like with TV and film?
Well, it's the spot because it's such a rich place to shoot. So many different landscapes here, different environments. You can make Atlanta look like New York or London, whatever. Right. And that's great. It's a lot more studios here now, and that's something that just blew my mind. See all these studios here. But like when we first started, like perfect example, Janelle Monáe's doing great now. And when she started out, she was straight in. I had to tell her, "Look, you need to come take acting classes." She said, "Nah, I like my music." I said, "Well, Atlanta's about to be this thing. I didn't know for sure, but I felt it, and look at her now." So it was
acting and music, like she's doing it. Like I'm so happy for her.
But she grinded it out when it came to her music. She was in the rain performing wherever she had to do. So I think that you have to have that same kind of mindset. If you really want something, you got to go all in.
Now, do you ever have students come to you and ask you, "Okay, well, I just feel like Atlanta isn't working for me. I'm just going to go straight to LA." What kind of advice do you tell them? What kind of advice do you tell up and coming actors? Because I just saw one of your students walking around here not too long ago, and he was just so excited about classes and started. You said for like another hour.
He's an hour early.
Right, he's an hour earlier. That goes to show you that your students are serious.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when somebody's first starting out, of course, they want to fast track to success and fame, but there's no such thing. You got to put in the work. An overnight sensation takes 15 years. We know that. Right. Every now and then you have that one person that just breaks through. But I think if you want to go to LA, I never tell people not to, because everybody's got their own journey, their path. However, it's a lot easier when you've taken advantage of this market, and use this as a proving ground and say, this is what I truly want to do, because you can still work here and support yourself. Right. And LA is grind time for real. Everything is just hardcore. And you got to figure it out. Don't go out there needing a job and all this other stuff, because
it's a whole totally different ball game out there in LA.
The best advice I heard, it was an actor tell me one time. It says, "Don't go to LA and crash the party. Go when you're invited." And that, to me, I think that if you can work here like yourself, you get called to go to LA now. Yeah. And that's the difference maker, you know what I'm saying? Because now you're not going out there with your hand out. You're going out there because they invited you out there. It's a whole different world. Yeah. A whole different world.
So something else that people may not know about you is that you were in the military.
I was, yeah.
And so how did you transition from being in the military to acting?
I think that was a natural progression for me. And just having that mentality of being a leader, which you have to be a leader, you have to be a self-starter, you have to be a motivator in this business, because nobody's going to hold your hand. So you have to get up out the bed in the morning, do whatever you need to do for that day, and prepare for whatever audition you have, or just prepare for anything in the future. So I think one thing about the military is giving me that discipline, that motivation, that drive, and that purpose of saying, okay, I have to be a self-starter, I have to be a motivator, and then being an acting coach. It's military. I tell people, especially when showcase season comes, I'm a whole different person, because now it's military. Now we have a mission. We got to accomplish this mission, and I got a lot of that from the military. I was a sergeant in the infantry, and that's where I learned a lot from.
Thank you for your service as well, sir. Okay, so Dwayne, so for those who may be watching and they may not be familiar with MacGyver, can you please tell us what else that you've seen?
I've been in Walking Dead, Hunger Games, the first Hunger Games. I did a movie with Nicolas Cage called Vengeance. It's on Netflix right now, and it was amazing. So
you're not going to do this?
No, I'm not.
Then I have no choice but to suspend you until further.
Oh, come on, Captain.
Until an investigation happens. You understand that, right?
That's bullshit.
I'll have somebody.
I'll have somebody from IA. Oh, your son's a heroin addict.
I need you to leave the premises.
Get over it.
Leave the premises. Go.
So, John, when you fired your weapon, it was purely self-defense, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're telling me at the time of the shooting, you had no idea about Raymond Casey's connection with Martine McGuire?
My daddy would have taught my ass I run off like that. Kid's a smart ass.
Name Ivan.
Come on, boy, let's go. 6 to 8 weeks. That's nearly all the training camp. It's an estimate, Davis. An optimistic estimate, okay? We know that your body's taking a little bit longer to heal. It's nice meeting you, man.
Marcus, it was great talking to you, and I hope I can trust you as a flight controller a lot more than I can trust these stories you're throwing around.
You should be so lucky. I like this guy.
Working with Nicolas Cage, I was a little starstruck on that set that day. I mean, a few days I worked with him, he was sitting across the table and I was watching him perform and I was saying, my line's up. You know what I'm saying? He's just such an incredible actor and somebody I grew up watching. And the biggest moment for me, but they cut my scene out, it was working with Al Pacino. He walked up and I was like, this is Scarface. This is, and just watching him, man. He's an older guy now, of course.
Right.
Just an incredible actor, man. So I normally play a lot of cops and soldiers. That's been my lane, and I'm okay with that.
Totally
I
fine.
think
As
that
long as you get paid,
hey, you know
pay
what?
the
People
bills.
say, well, I don't want to be typecast. You got to get cast first. So as long as you're working, it doesn't matter. So I've done a lot of that, and I think that if you really want to create some other opportunities for yourself, you got to write them.
Right.
But I'm okay with playing a lot of cops. Like I said, I'm an ex-LA police officer, and I'm on Tell Me a Story for CBS streaming right now on CBS Online, CBS All Access, and I'm playing a cop on there. So I've done a cop maybe 30, 40 times.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's really
but you're
good.
working, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
and that's all that matters.
absolutely.
So earlier you mentioned, I mentioned that you do headshots as
Right.
well. Tell us what a good headshot looks like.
It's about just having some great things happening behind your eyes. A lot of people don't realize that, but the eyes sell the headshot.
Right.
You ever seen a headshot where somebody's got a blank stare and it's like dead behind the eyes, but when you see that headshot that says, wow, that's something that person draws me in. They're doing something with their eyes. I don't know if they're thinking something. I don't know what the photographer told them, how they're coaching them, but it's really the eyes, selling the eyes. And I think composition backgrounds and a lot of just good things happening. Nothing too distracting, but enough to make you focus on the subject, but also take in the entire picture. So I think that's happening. The cinematic shots are everything now. Big shout out to Dylan Patrick, the guy that kind of taught me here. And Richard Mellinger too. Those are two headshot photographers that I work with.
But so if you can also give the people some audition tips, because you also cast your 4 Minutes project.
Yeah, I'm looking to cast some new projects as well. But I think the main thing is just finding your honesty, your own truth in a role, and understanding that a lot of times when you get these auditions really quick, you got to learn how to break the scene down as quickly as possible. Always figure out what is your objective in the scene. What do you want from this other person? And don't be afraid to put a button on the scene at the end as well. I say so many actors just stick to the script. When you're missing what makes you, the true essence of who you are, bring that to the role.
Exactly.
Because what happens is you're writing, something's written, and they had somebody, an idea in mind of a person, but you're going to make the person real. And I think the only way you can make the person real is bring your true self to that role. And I think a lot of people miss out trying to get it right as opposed to just honoring who they are.
And another thing that we learned in your class was, we could have one sentence and it could be, hey, how you doing? It could be like, and you taught us to actually perform it 3 different ways.
Oh yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
you have to be on top of that because just in case you're on set and a director says, you know what, can you try it a different way? You have to be able to do it a different way, just like that.
And it happens all the time. I know you experience that a lot too. They say, this is fine. Let's try it this way.
Exactly.
And they expect, as an actor, they expect you to be able to handle that. I can tell you with improv, people undervalue improv sometimes, but I've seen so many times on set where a scene was not working or the director just didn't have anything, they would tell people to improv. So I think that you have to be great at improv as well now.
What else can you say as far as like the up and coming actors? Because I had a good friend of mine who recently said, I had an audition and I'm so upset that I didn't book. And I'm like,
wow, okay.
Really? Can I tell you how many times I audition and I don't book?
Thousands of times I audition
Right.
and didn't book anything. So,
and it's crazy.
And that's okay too, because I think that we're forgetting that our job is to audition and perform well in that moment and let it go. We get caught up in that. Why? Because it's so many reasons we don't book something that we have no control over that. Like I was telling you earlier.
No control.
Right, I was up for a role on Survivor's Remorse, and I was pinned for 30 days or whatever. And I called Brody, who was on set, one of my students that was on set for that season. And I said, hey man, what happened? I said, I didn't hear anything. He said, oh, Isaiah Washington got that role. That's Isaiah Washington. I would have cast him. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
I think he's great. So I just said, you know what? I think that as actors, we have to understand that this is still a business. And be okay with that side of it, but don't get so caught up in what you didn't get. And be thankful for what you get. Be grateful, man. I think this the opportunity to perform an audition is a blessing. So.
All right, Dwayne. So you've given us so much information tonight. I just want to say thank you so very much.
No problem.
But before we close out, I have to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Leave out with an inspirational quote.
I read this earlier today, so no, it was good because it's so fitting to what we deal with as actors. We get so down about the auditions and everything else, or not the auditions not coming in. But you gotta always go from one project to the next, or one audition to the next with enthusiasm. I always believe something better is coming.
That is true.
You know, and that keeps us motivated. That's fuel for the journey.
Right.
Because this is a tough career path we chose, or it chose us.
Right. That is
you know,
true.
So
That is true.
I just think that you got to always believe that big break is coming. Hang in there. Don't quit.
There you go. Thank you. And again, thank you for prepping me for this industry.
Let's get it. You're
All
doing
right.
well.
Thank you. All right, and thank you all so very much for tuning in to another dope episode of Road to Hollywood. You want to sing?
Yeah. Sing, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a big New Edition fan.
You can say
Oh,
Road to Hollywood.
Oh, we got to sing that song.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know the song.
Yeah, this is Road
Okay.
to Hollywood. Go ahead and go.
Road to Hollywood, yeah.
Thank you for being a team
No.
player.
Please.
I appreciate you so
Anytime.
much.
Y'all doing your
Thank
thing.
you.
Y'all doing your thing. This is what's up. I like that.
What's going on, good people? We are back. Tab, do you notice anything different about me?
Your edges. Nah.
I got my hair cut.
This shit's still long.
I know, but I felt
How many inches you cut off? That's what I'm supposed to ask, right?
I got a trim. I really did get a cut. Anyways, y'all, Tab, that was Dawn. You did a great interview.
Dawn, you did a great interview. Y'all stunting at the Port of Sanford.
That was really nice that he was able to let us in the Port of Stanford theater and show us around a little bit, and you got a chance to videotape some of his class. And you know, I like Dwayne. Like I said, I've known him for a little bit over 10 years, and he's always been nothing but positive and inspiring. So
That's what's up, man. I really, really think this was one of the most informative episodes of Rose of Hollywood. You did your thing, and yo, on to the next with your trimmed edges.
all right, see y'all next episode of Road to Hollywood.
Peace, 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 peace.